Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we are going to be getting ready for the Yeti 100. We are 2 days out, and there are 3 big things that I do before every race to make sure that I am mentally prepared and I have everything that I need to get this race done. So the first thing that I do is a proper map recon and aid station recon. What I'm really focusing on this is trying to figure out how far away the aid stations are, or how far away my crew is going to be, or my drop eggs are going to be. I typically run these ultra marathons solo, so I'm really kind of plotting out when I can hit each drop egg. And on this race in particular, it's a little bit funky and it got a little bit confusing just because this course got shortened a lot this year. There was a lot of flooding in Virginia, so a lot of the trail has been pretty much inaccessible, but the course is basically like 25 to 30 miles long, and we're just going to be running back and forth. So I'm going to have 3 big drop eggs, one at the start and finish, one around 10 miles, and one around like 25 miles-ish. The middle drop egg is going to be the biggest one, so I had to like kind of figure out at what time I'm going to be hitting this aid station and how I can fit everything into one big drop egg for each one of these aid stations. So it did get a little bit complicated. So this is very important to do your aid station recon or your map recon. And I'm not really focusing on like the terrain or the gain and loss of the actual course. I'm really just focusing on what kind of time I'm looking to get from bag to bag. So the first bag, or the first drop bag that I actually hit, is going to be around 9.5 miles. And then the next bag after that's around 6 miles. So each one of my stretches that I'm going to be from my drop bags are going to be either 9 miles or 9.5 miles to 6.5 miles. And that's going to be either probably around like 2 to 3 hours. And if things are absolutely freaking falling apart, around 4 hours. So I'm making sure that if I lose everything that I'm carrying on person, that I can fully restock my gear from these aid station drops every single time I hit that aid station. So if I'm hitting a drop bag 6 times, I'm gonna have to have a full refueling package for 6 times in one drop bag. So it gets a little bit confusing. So I wanted to make sure that I was doing a lot of planning on these drop bags and making sure that I have my chart properly set up, that I carry with me, and I'll put it on my phone also, of all the aid stations, what the total mileage is of the race when you actually hit that aid station, the mileage to the next aid station, and then the most important part is the mileage to the next drop bag. On there, I will also put on a couple notes of what I should actually be taking during that drop bag stop, and also what is available at that actual aid station. This one's a little bit easier just because there's not that many aid stations that I actually have to deal with. It's going to be the same 4 aid stations over and over again. So there's only one aid station that doesn't have drop bag access, and then the rest of them are either the start and finish, or I'll have these big drop bags just kind of laid out. So number one thing, and this dictates what I'm actually putting in the drop bags and the amount of stuff that I'm putting in the drop bags, is making sure that I'm fully understanding where the aid stations are, where my drop bags are, or if I do have a crew, where the crew is going to be. But I do like to do them solo. It's kind of that weird concept of being a journeyman. You just kind of leave your comfortable house, your job, your family, and then you go out and do something epic, and then you come back a changed man. Usually that changed man has a bunch of chafed asshole and beat up and bloody feet, and then you just sleep on the couch. But hey, you know, you learn something and you grow a little bit, and I fucking love that. Ever since I was watching Bruce Lee and all those adventure cartoons when we were growing up, I just always ached for that sense of adventure, and Ultramarathon really fulfills that drive for me as a journeyman. But other than planning, that's when we get into the drop bags, and I make sure that I do a really good drop bag layout and lay out every single theme, and I make sure that I have more than enough in these drop bags just in case, once again, I yard sale in the middle of the trail and everything goes flying and I lose all my gels, all my everything, and I can refuel at any point at one of these drop bags. So my nutrition has kind of changed since the Old Dominion 100 miler. I was really getting into the Precision 90s, but for some reason my stomach started not liking them as much. So I switched back to the SIS Beta Fuel gels. I did use these last year and I really like them, and they go down really easily, and they're 40 grams each packet. I'll probably be taking one every 30 minutes to 20 minutes. So I'll be getting in around 80 to 120 grams of carbs an hour. I'll make sure that I'll have about 6 of these on me at all time just in case. And I might downgrade as the race goes on and I'm taking in a little bit less fuel just because of stomach issues or whatever it may be. Another thing that I have been really training on is eating protein during longer efforts also. So getting around 10 to 20 grams of protein every like 3 to 4 hours. So I have these Bonk Buster energy bars, and instead of going with the bagels that I usually eat, just as meal replacements to keep the stomach actually full and I don't feel hungry out there, or if my stomach starts getting like acidity like it did during the Old Dominion 100 miler where I ended up pooping in the woods 17 freaking times, I switched to the bagels and it helped cleared up my stomach quite a bit. And I've been switching it with these Bonk Buster energy bars where I also get some protein and I'll also have some actual food, solid food in my stomach to absorb some of that sodium, some of that gel, and all that good stuff. So I'll have the Beta Fuel gels, I'll have the Bonk Busters, I'll also have the Carbs Fuel 100 milligram caffeine gels. Typically I only try to take caffeine every 3 to 4 hours, if that. Like usually I'll only get around 2 to 3 doses of caffeine while I'm running. I have been kind of pumping it up a little bit this year with caffeine, so I might try to go up to like 600 to 700 milligrams of caffeine and kind of really hit that caffeine quite a lot. And then the last thing, I'll always have bagels on deck just in case the stomach starts rejecting the Bonk Busters or my stomach just completely starts rejecting everything. I know 100% my body can run on bagels. I will also have a bunch of lube in my bag. I just take the Squirrel's nut butter, scoop it out and put it in one of these little sandwich bags, dive my fingers in there and give myself a little swipe up the ass crack every now and again. And that usually helps with chafing. I'll also have baby wipes in the drop bag just in case Old Dominion comes and strikes back. I'll be able to drop some trail magic with those. And then I will always have a couple extra bottles spread out between these bags just in case a bottle cap flies off or something crazy happens. One or two of these bags, actually 2 of the bags that are further away from the start and finish will have an extra headlamp. I'm making sure that I have extra headlamps all throughout the course because last time I ran the Yeti 100, I forgot it. And if it wasn't for a aid station worker, I would have been in the dark by myself, just crying and hoping that the Yeti monster doesn't jump on my back and bash my skull in and just leave me for dead on the trail. So, and then the very last thing that I'll have in these drop bags is some cold weather gear and some rain gear because it is projected to rain, probably like a 60% chance to rain in the morning and then in the night. And last time I ran the Yeti 100, we got the bands, the like outer bands of a hurricane, and we were basically running in the rain in torrential, like tropical storm type weather and rain for like 50 to 60 miles. And the trail was completely like watered out. It was freaking insane. So I'm getting ready for that. I have an extra raincoat that's going to be in the furthest bag, and I have some cold weather gear that is spread out throughout these drop bags once again. So this is probably one of the most time-consuming portions of prep that I actually do, is making sure that I have everything I need in these drop bags and everything is spread out and separated evenly so I can just run in, grab one of these bags and start ripping everything out and replacing whatever I need in it. It usually takes around like 2 to 5 minutes of actual like process time. I mean, it's kind of like scoots further and further to like the 5 minute mark, the further the actual race goes. But my goal is to try to get out of each aid station or each drop bag aid station within 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. And I have been pretty successful with that in the past 50 miles and or like before 50 miles. So number 3, and this is the last thing that I make sure that I do before I leave the house or I go to the hotel or I start driving, is do a proper layout of everything that I'm actually going to be wearing on person when I start the race. And I usually end up carrying a little bit more, but at the bare minimum, I'll put everything that I laid out and made sure that I have, and I'll put it in a plastic bag so that I don't have to think about it. So when it comes into race day, I can just like unlock that bag or open up that bag and just pull everything out. And if I want to add extra stuff in there, I can just throw it in at that time. But at the very minimum, I make sure that I have every single thing that I have. So my loadout for the Yeti 100, and this is what I have been training with quite a bit. I will be running in the Raid Light 1.5 liter, and I have a rain jacket that's mandatory strapped to the back of it where the pools usually go. And in the back of that, I will be carrying an 800 milliliter flask, and I'll be hand carrying a 500 milliliter flask. So I'll be having around 44 ounces of water on me at all times. I'll be carrying 6 of the beta gels with me at all times, and I'll have 1 of the Carbon Fuel with caffeine on me also. And I want to try to maintain having 6 of those gels on me at all times. So every time I hit one of these drop bags, I'll just kind of be replenishing and making sure that I have 6 of the beta fuel gels with me at all times, just in case anything crazy happens. I will also have a packet of electrolytes. So I have the salt tabs, and then I have some emergency Tylenol in there. I'll usually be taking around 4 to 5 of those tablets every hour, and that's going to be around 1,000 milligrams of sodium and other electrolytes every hour. I might take some bicarb. I've been practicing with it, but I'm still not 100% sure. But if I do take some of that bicarb, I'll wait around 3 hours before I start taking my electrolyte packs, just because there is a big amount of sodium or like sodium-like stuff within that bicarb where you can kind of overdo it if you start immediately taking your electrolytes. So that's something that I've been really trying to figure out during my training runs, but I haven't figured it out 100%. So I'm still on the fence with that. I'll also be carrying my headphones and my cell phone. And then the last thing that I'll have on me is the ice bandana. So it should be around like 70 to 80 degrees when it's not raining out. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm icing as much as possible if it does get over 70 degrees. I was doing that during the Old Dominion 100 and a lot during training, where even around like 75 degrees, I did see a performance uptick when I was icing, even though it wasn't like incredibly hot or it wasn't scorching out. It wasn't like 90 degrees. But even at 75 degrees with my sweat rate, just a little bit of ice in an ice bandana, it could reduce my heart rate probably by like 10 to 15 beats per minute. So I'm gonna stop rambling, start packing all this stuff up and get ready to get out of here. So once again, this is the 3 big things that I recommend everybody do before they hit an ultramarathon, and that is a proper aid station reconnaissance. Make sure everything's mapped out, make sure that you know when you're gonna be able to see your crew again, see your drop bags again. And then once you have this set up, you'll have all the information you need to be able to pack the appropriate amount of nutrition that you need in each drop bag. And that really saves on like the guessing game. Like you don't want just a big bag of stuff and you have to like kind of reach in it like a claw machine. You want to just be able to grab it and go, because so much time is saved being efficient in the aid stations. And that is something that I learned probably in the last 2 years, and it really helped cut my final times down. So make sure that you do this proper reconnaissance of your actual aid stations. Make sure that once you get that done, you lay everything out and make sure that you have everything you need in your drop bags, just because you don't want to be at mile 80 and just like not have what you need to finish out the race, especially if you're like fucking dying out there, like, and you're just thinking about a bagel and you're thinking about a bagel and then the bagel's not there. Man, that could be freaking soul crushing. Or if you blow up one of your freaking bottles and you don't have any extras out there, then, you know, you might be SOL. And then the last thing, 100%, make sure that you lay out what you're gonna be carrying on person, and then just put it in a bag and make sure that you don't touch it. So then you know you have everything you need to start the race. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Training has been going good. Ready to kick this motherfucker in the goddamn face. Make sure that you're getting out there and fucking getting it. Chip away. Become an average motherfucking savage. Let's go kick this fucking course's ass. And let's go for that sub 20 100 miler, that sub 20 hour 100 miler. That's the goal. And if it happens, hey, we're gonna be popping champagne. If it doesn't, we're gonna learn some valuable lessons, because that's what life is about, is getting your ass kicked, learning your lesson, and trudging forward and kicking some fucking ass, chipping away, becoming an average savage. Let's get out there and let's fucking get it. Let's go.